Let me tell you something that might shake you. Sometimes the love you've prayed for is more triggering than the love that you healed from. Now, stay with me. Stay with me. Not because it's wrong, but because it's healthy. If you are an anxious attachment girly, forgive me, you know how it feels to get into relationships. But I want to talk about dating after you healed your anxious attachment. If you're new here, welcome to Heal the New Sex, where we discuss all things healing, self-love, and relationships. My name is Cynthia. I am a licensed therapist and relationship coach. So listen, dating after anxious attachment can feel very unnerving. And not just anxious attachment, okay? Dating after maybe having multiple toxic relationships can be unnerving too. And we're going to talk about the science of that today. But I just want to encourage you, especially if you're watching this video and you're like, yes, Cynthia, like I'm in a relationship right now. I don't want to sabotage it, blah, 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 blah. I got you. I got you. Okay. So let's talk about, right, how healthy love can feel triggering when you're used to chaos and how anxious attachment shows up in healthy relationships. So listen, your nervous system equates inconsistency with passion. If you grew up in chaos, like I did, I grew up in a chaotic home where there was domestic violence, and you didn't grow up with like peace and stability, maybe there was neglect, those type of things, your nervous system has been trained on chaos, okay? So you may have dated men that were emotionally unavailable, or you dated avoidant men who were inconsistent. Your body learned to associate that anxiety with attraction. That's why many people be like, oh, there was no chemistry there, which is really, oh, he's not triggering me, right? Or sometimes like on a spiritual level, you know, spirit recognized spirit. So you was like, oh my gosh, I was just feeling all of these things. It was going off, and it was like your body was like, he unhealed. He about to take you through there. He about to drag you. And you're like, oh my gosh, I just like him so much. That's just because your wiring and your spirit has been introduced to something unhealthy. Okay. So chemistry, that, ooh, it feels so good. This, oh my gosh, may not be a sign that it's healthy love. Okay. So when someone shows up consistently, texts back, respects you, and doesn't play games, your brain begins to question and say, something wrong here. I'm used to having to fight for love. I'm used to having to prove myself from love. I'm used to have to perform for love. How come this man is just giving it to me freely? I'm used to a man having to beg a man for attention, having to beg a man for his time. Why this man just making himself available to me? Okay, right? Then you start feeling anxious and you say something must be wrong. You think a healthy man is really trying to take advantage of you when he's not. He's showing up being healthy. And then let me say this too. You know, as women, I think in society as a whole, we don't really pay attention to the pain of men. And sometimes we feel like, or we're taught like a man is supposed to be a hunter, and if he wants you, he's going to come get you. And sometimes a man can be apprehensive, not apprehensive about you per se, but just about giving his heart again. And so that could be triggering to you as well. So just pay attention to that and ask questions so that you can have some clarity on what it is. Are you apprehensive about me? Or is it that because you've experienced some pain in your past, this is scary for you too? What if you're anxious, you have anxious attachment and he does too, but the both of you have done your work? You guys are going to trigger each other. But if you guys are very genuine and caring and kind and considerate of each other, you're going to do the work to be present in that relationship. Just want to put that out there. Okay. So healthy love, this is another reason why your anxious attachment shows up. Healthy love feels slow or boring, right? Especially if you're used to being in survival mode, right? You may be waiting for the other shoe to drop. Not because he's doing anything wrong, but because your nervous system doesn't know how to rest. You're used to relationships where there's a lot of chaos. Maybe there's manipulation. Let's say as soon as there's a commitment, then this person changes. Or as soon as And commitment, that could be being exclusive, that could be being married, then this person changes. So you are dating, but you are on edge. You are waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for the moment where it's like, aha, I knew this wasn't real love. Aha, I knew you were going to mistreat me. Aha, I knew you weren't the man that you said you were. You are waiting essentially for your heart to be broken. Let's take a moment right there. This man comes into your life and you're waiting for him to break your heart because that's all you have experienced. You're waiting for the sadness. You're waiting for the disappointment. You may even wait for him to cheat. And you got to check those beliefs that you have. Sometimes relationships can come to us many ways, but sometimes it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because we are operating from certain beliefs on the inside of ourselves, in our subconscious, and we're drawing those type of people into our life. So you have to check that. If you need help with that, schedule. The link is in the bio, a coaching call, so I can work with you, because in the new year, what I want for all of us, to include myself, is a healthy love. A love where we're adored, we're cherished, we're working together, and we're not working against each other. Okay? Okay. All right. We're not waiting for the other shoe to drop. We're not waiting for a man to break our heart. We are believing that the God that we serve is going to send a healthy man to love us, to cherish us, to adore us, to drink our dirty bath water. Okay? You're afraid that if someone actually sees you, they'll leave. So you preemptively sabotage, pull away, test him, or create conflict to see if he will stay. Sometimes as women, we got to take accountability for running a great man, not a good guy. Because I'm a good man. A great man away. Watch my video, the difference between a good guy and an intentional man, to hear my insight about that, okay? Because there's a lot of men who say they're a good man and they not. Don't test that man. Don't create conflict with him to see if he's going to stay, because a healthy man, the same way you know your worth, a healthy man knows his worth too. And there's only so much he's going to put up with, because he knows and understands and recognizes that he shouldn't have to jump through tests in order to be in a healthy and loving relationship, okay? So if you find yourself doing that, you need to take a step back, and you need to get to the root as to why you're engaging in that behavior. Why am I pushing him? And you're pushing him because you're really trying to prove to yourself that he loves you, which means in your either dating experience or what you witnessed growing up, you witness these cycles of making up and breaking up and making up and breaking up and making up and breaking up. If it's meant to be, if that person loves you, that they'll never leave you and they'll always come back. So you're trying to see if he's going to do that. But a healthy man may not go through that with you. Okay? All right. Now, let me give you a few scenarios where healthy love may feel triggering. Number one, he's consistent and you feel uncomfortable, or you also may feel like he doing too much, okay? He texts daily, he follows through, he makes plans in advance. And instead of feeling safe, you feel suspicious. Your brain whispers, why is he being so nice? What does he want? This is too much too soon. You may feel like he a bugaboo. Remember that song? I don't know how old I was. I don't even know if I was a teenager when that song came out, right? Let me see if I can find the lyrics real quick. Sorry, y'all. Because this is a good example. Bugaboo lyrics. I know somebody's singing it right now. Let's see. She said, you make me want to throw my pager out the window. Tell MCI to cut the phone poles. Break my lease so I can move because you a bugaboo, right? But there's a part of it that when you are used to having to show up a certain way and beg someone to love you and beg someone to care for you and beg someone to be present and beg someone to spend time with you, that when someone's just giving it to you freely, it can almost give you the ick. Like, that's your nervous system, okay? Listen, which I want you to realize that you may be addicted to inconsistency, or you were conditioned to accept inconsistency, okay? Versus thriving with consistency. You deserve consistency. And sometimes In your childhood, you may have a parent that was hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And so you have accepted that in the past as relates to your romantic relationships, that this person can show up in your life. They could be hot, they could be cold, they could be hot, they could be cold. And you start, in the moments that they're cold, you start performing in order to get in their good graces again. You don't have to do that in love. You don't have to do that in healthy love. Even when this man is upset with you or disappointed with you or frustrated with you, in healthy love, guess what? You don't have to perform for him. You don't have to do that. He's going to cherish you, okay? Scenario number 2, he doesn't argue back when you get emotional. Healthy men are not going to argue with you. Instead, what they're going to do, he's going to listen. He's going to ask how he can support you. He's not going to, I forget what they're saying. He's not going to match your intensity. He's going to stay calm. He's going to stay calm. You know why? Because he's not interested in fighting you. He's interested in solving whatever the issue is so that the two of you can get back on the track of loving each other and caring for each other. And when you guys have an argument, he's not going to say things to hurt or harm or damage you. I remember talking to someone recently and they was like, when you get upset, people just say stuff. No. People who care about each other don't just say anything to each other. They don't tear each other down. They understand we are discussing the issue. You are not the issue. It could be a behavior. It could be a belief. It could have been an action. That is the issue, but I still love and adore and cherish you. And when I get angry, that doesn't change. How come somebody get angry with you and they call you everything but a child of God? That person don't love you. Bible say love is patient, love is kind. It keeps no record of wrong. No. Okay. So when this man shows up and he's being calm, you keep thinking, does he even care? Why isn't he fighting for me? Because you have equated conflict with love. I remember Tony Gaskins years ago talking about a woman that he dated prior to getting married, and how her mother and sister, there was domestic violence in those relationships. And so that girl had told him, like, I feel like you don't love me because you don't hit me. And so when ladies, Heal Squad, we have to be honest that there are certain behaviors that we have either witnessed in our parents' relationship or the women in our lives relationship, and we have picked those behaviors up and now they're present in ours, and we're looking for those behaviors as cues that person loves us, when really that is unhealthy, problematic, and abusive behavior. He don't have to cuss you out. He doesn't have to get aggressive. He doesn't have to do any of that to prove that he loves you. Love is gentle. It's sweet. It's caring. It's kind. It's attentive. It chooses you over and over and over, and it gives you choice. It doesn't tear you down. It doesn't break you down. It doesn't criticize you in a way that I want to say, what's that word? Harsh. I'll use the word harsh. Okay. Scenario number 3, he sets boundaries and you think he's pulling away. He says, hey, baby, I need a few more extra hours at work, or I want to talk about this, but I want to talk about this when we're both calm. I want to talk about it right now. Why we got... What you doing, me? I'm going to mess it up. Right? You think he's losing interest because he's putting a boundary in place. Okay, you are interpreting, and I want you to, like, if you're watching this video, I know some of you beautiful ladies, you take notes. I want you to start as I you may have to watch this again, but as I'm going through each of the points, I want you to pay attention to the thoughts that come up for you and the scenarios and the memories that come up for you, where he may have needed to put a boundary in place and you didn't respect his boundary because like here, you think he's pulling away. Right? Let's say he says, baby, baby, I got a big day tomorrow. I'm going to bed early. And the last man who told you he was going to bed early really was sneaking with his baby mama. So what you do, you went over to his house, you pulled up, you banging on the door, and he really in there sleep. And you talking about, who in here? And that man like, I know somebody here. I told you, I have a presentation in the morning. Let's say he's trying to go for partner at the law firm. I got a presentation in the morning to become partner. Why would you think that I would be sneaking someone over here? And now you feel this big. But guess what? You feel that big because the other man who you dealt with lied to you. We got to check that. And the same way you want a man to respect your boundaries, you have to be able to respect his as well. Okay? All right. Sometimes we mistake boundaries for abandonment, and that this person is neglecting us and they don't want to be with us, or they're cutting us out of their life, when really it's just a boundary. And the same way you have yours, he will have his. Okay? He's emotionally available, and instead of relaxing, you panic. He's clear about how he feels about you. You don't have to ask him 15,000 times if he likes you. He's emotionally available. You don't have to guess how he feels. He communicates how he feels. He's emotionally intelligent, but you are not used to that. You're used to the nonchalant man, the man who doesn't communicate, the man who will use love as manipulation. So when you have an argument, that's when he tells you he loves you. Not that he tells you he loves you and he adores you and you're the one for him on a regular day. So him being emotionally available to you triggers you because you are used to having to fight to get into a man's heart, get into a man's mind, and to know his thoughts. And this man shares with you freely. Right? Listen, you've been so used to pursuing unhealthy love that the energy of healthy love is scary for you. All right. So let's talk about how you sabotage this love without even realizing it. You overthink and assume the worst. You hyperanalyze text. What did he mean when he said, we'll see? Is he like, we'll see, but really that's his way of saying no? Is he saying we'll see, but he's really not interested? Is he saying we'll see, but it's really a no? You need a constant reassurance. Constant. Now, there are some women who are like, I want my man to be all about me. And there are some men who are like that. But you have to realize that when you are seeking out the reassurance, from what place are you seeking it out? Are you seeking it out from a place of need and validation and affirmation? So that's why you keep going to get it. Okay. Testing him to see if he really cares, if he'll chase harder. So he texts you and you're like, well, I'm not going to text. I'm going to see if he'll call. You intentionally make yourself unavailable to see if he'll turn up the intensity. Many of us have experienced toxic relationships, but they were so intense. And in a healthy love, it may be a slow burn. And so you are looking to kind of create some intensity. Okay. Pulling away in order to protect yourself, especially when you start developing stronger emotions for him, especially in the relationship where trust is beginning to build, you begin to pull away because now you are not trusting yourself. Now these emotions are overwhelming you and they feel unsafe to you. Sometimes love feels unsafe because you've had so much heartbreak. And so when a healthy man comes and you feel yourself kind of opening up and wanting to lean in and lean forward and you want to rest in him, you're like, I can't do that. Have you ever been in class and you find yourself kind of dozing off and you pick your head up? That's what many of us have done in healthy relationships because it's like we're falling and we can't allow ourselves to do that. We can't allow our guard to be down because one, we may have been raised in an environment that we always had to protect ourselves and be on guard. But two, it could be in previous relationships, we gave our heart so willingly and that person crushed it and disappointed us and betrayed us and lied to us and manipulated us. So now here it is. We want a healthy relationship, but we're sabotaging it. Okay. Nitpicking him to create distance, being hypercritical of him. And you may not say it out loud, but in your head, you are looking at everything he does and you're trying to find something in order to distance yourself. Being avoidant when someone gets too close. And I discussed that, you know what I'm saying? It can be triggering. Like there are a lot of women that you show up really well doing the part of the chasing, like when he's trying to get you. But when the relationship sets in, that's when your fear comes up. And now you're trying to keep him at arm's length because again, you don't want to give him your heart. You don't want another heartbreak. And I want you to believe that this next relationship is going to be your best relationship. I want you to believe that you've gone through your last heartbreak and this relationship, this healthy love that you're about to come into. If you believe in happily ever after, then this one is the one will be available to you. Okay. Emotionally dumping too fast to speed up intimacy. And you have to be careful of this because I really want him to like me. And so you begin to tell him all these details. That man don't know you. And how men fall in love or fall in like is very different than how we do. You with a girlfriend can give her all the details and she'll be there, she'll be supportive. That men are not created the same way. So be sure to pace yourself. And also a healthy man will show up with a pace as well. He's not going to try to trauma bond. He's not going to dump all these things on you because he understands that one, he wants to have a good impression, like you have a good impression of him, but also he wants to build a solid foundation with you. I think as women, quite often we get in relationships and we just go with the flow of it, but sometimes you can go in the flow with a man who's not intentional. This next man that you're with is going to be a man who's intentional, okay? And then self-abandoning to keep the peace. Listen, don't abandon yourself in a relationship and don't betray yourself in a relationship. The greatest relationship that you should have outside your relationship with God is your relationship with yourself. Don't abandon yourself for a man. If you're not available at that time, let's say he wants to do dinner Wednesday at 6 and you're not available, then you're not available. But don't abandon yourself. Let's say you have a yoga class at 3 on Saturdays and he wants to do something. Don't do that. Many women center men so much when they get in a relationship that they abandon themselves. And then many years later, you're trying to figure out, who am I? What do I like? Don't do that. Don't do that, baby doll. Don't do that. Okay. And I know the reason why many of us do this to include myself previously is because our inner child is driving the relationship. I'm going to do a video, and I don't know if I'm going to do it just for the membership but dating from your grown woman versus your inner child. And I'm going to do that video because I think many of us are dating from the little girl, and it is our responsibility to give our inner child what she needs. And you know, whether that's validation and affirmation, because if we give her what she needs, if a person comes and gives anything to her, it's from a place of overflow. It's not a place from us being depleted. And I'm going to give you examples of how women show up dating as the inner child versus women showing up being healed and whole. Okay. So be on the lookout for that. And if you're still here and you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe because you don't want to miss that video. So let's talk about how to stop sabotaging healthy love. Okay. So first of all, you got to name the trigger in the moment. All right. So let's say that he missed your call. And so now you're beginning to spiral like, why? You know, we usually talk this time every day. What's going on? Why is he answering the phone? You have to say, okay, let me stop. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. He could be busy. And just because he missed the call doesn't mean that anything is going on. Let me find something to do in the moment because he may just be busy right now. So let me not decompress. Let me manage my anxiety, relax, and wait for him to call. Because this is the thing. If you have anxious attachment, there are things that trigger you about love, okay? But every trigger is not a red flag, and every trigger doesn't mean that this man is doing something to you. Your brain is overactive. So it will perceive something even as normal as a trigger, like, oh my gosh, he missed my call. He could be with somebody else, or what is he? And then you spiraling, okay? Don't do that, okay? So name the trigger in the moment. Slow down your emotional response, right? Healthy love is not urgent. It's okay to pause before reacting. So let's say he missed your call. He doesn't call you back. You call him back. Do an emotional check-in with yourself first. Am I calling him because I'm feeling anxious, or am I calling him because I am concerned? And this is out of his norm, right? You call him and he's like, oh, babe, I'm so sorry. I had an emergency. Oh, thank you so much for calling and checking on me. I just got so distracted and da-da-da-da-da. And you're like, okay, cool. Right? But before you called him, you had already soothed yourself. Also, journal before you text him. Just write, on a sticky note for 5 seconds, how you feel, and then text him. That way, if you're overwhelmed, it can be in what you wrote, not what you text him. You wrote, oh my gosh, he hasn't called me. Something could have happened, blah, 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 blah. And then you text him, hey, babe, everything okay? Not, hey, babe, I'm worried. I haven't heard from you. Usually call me at this time. Usually text me at this time. Usually do this. Okay? Waiting 20 minutes before responding when anxious. It's okay if you get anxious when you're anxious to slow down responding so that you can be able to self-soothe and regulate yourself. Okay? Communicate your attachment style. Now, I would do this maybe after a couple of dates. I would communicate my attachment style. Okay? And the reason why you want to communicate your attachment style is because, one, we're getting to know each other and understand each other. But two, so your partner has, now some people feel some type of way, like, I'm not going to tell that man anything about me. If I tell him if I got an anxious attachment style, then he's going to be trying to play on my anxious attachment style. If he's a healthy man, he's not going to do that. If he's a healthy man, he's going to be considerate of you. And so then he's going to say, oh, let me do this because I don't want to cause her to be upset. You know what I'm saying? So communicate your attachment style after a couple of dates. And I would say, or when you become exclusive. But before then, you got to manage that. Okay. Let him show up without trying to control the outcome. So no more testing him. No more forcing vulnerability early in to lock him in. No more having sex with him in order to lock him in. We're not using sex as a manipulation tool. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Girl, I'm about to lock him down. I'm about to put this on him. No. Okay? Receive instead of chase. Sit back and allow yourself to receive what this man has to offer. Okay? And also build a self-soothing plan. So if you have to, go for a walk. I have a walking pad in my living room. So sorry, y'all. So sometimes in the middle of the day, I go for a walk. Go for a walk at least for 15 minutes. Do some breath work. Do some tapping. I love to do some tapping, okay? Call a friend who grounds you. I just called Tia yesterday. Girl. And she processed it with me, right? So call a friend to ground you. Don't call your friend that's not give you buck. Call your friend that's going to calm you down, okay? Redirect anxious thoughts with the truth. He hasn't done anything wrong. Sometimes you can become so in your head that you can't really pay attention to what's going around. I love to tell myself the truth about a situation, okay? And it doesn't even have to be about a relationship. I've been fired from a couple of jobs. I haven't had the healthiest and best relationships with supervisors. And I remember going through cancer treatment and my supervisor being really nice to me. And I was like, because my other supervisors was getting me. So I was like, oh, why are they being nice to me? I was anxious. I was worried. I was concerned. Okay. So tell yourself the truth. He hasn't done anything. He's always consistent. He's always kind. He's always loving. He's always there when I need him. His word always matches up with his actions. I have no reason to be suspicious of him. Okay. And then practice secure affirmations. Okay. So sometimes, and I talked about this in a different video, what you can do is you could get you something like a piece of paper and you write down all the things as it relates to this relationship that you think that are negative, and then write the opposite. You fold it and you just focus on the positive things, and those are your affirmations, okay? So you want to do that. So you're not just in your mind and let me say this as well. We cannot judge every man in our life by the men that broke our heart. You have to get a healthy view of men, okay? So don't automatically assume that this man is going to do something to hurt or to harm you, because that's not the truth, okay? Allow healthy love to feel unfamiliar. Be uncomfortable with healthy love. I know what you're used to. I know you're used to begging a man to buy you flowers. I know you're used to begging a man for dates. I know you're used to begging a man to see you, to hear you, to acknowledge your feelings, but you don't have to do that here, okay? So you are not supposed to feel butterflies all the time. Healthy love is peace, it's stability, it's ease, it's emotional and physical and spiritual and financial safety. It's gentle. It's gentle. It's gentle. He treats you delicately because he knows you are. Listen, there's a difference between how I treat this plastic bottle and how I treat my coffee mug, right? Because this is glass. I want you to start seeing yourself as fine china. And any man who doesn't treat you gently, I want you to question if that's your man. Now, there's some men that are rough around the edges, But I've known some men that are rough around the edges that melt in the presence of their woman. They don't handle her any kind of way. And so for you, I want you to realize that you are like a fine piece of china and porcelain, and he is going to treat you that way. This right here can be crushed. You can't. And a man will come into your life, a healthy man, and he will treat you that way. Okay? I want you to choose slowness. As anxious attached girlies, we like that speed. We like that intensity. We like that, ooh, ooh. My man. No, slow down. Take your time. Choose for it to be slow. I'm going to do a dating framework for you ladies, because I think many of us don't have a framework for which we're dating from. And so it's going to be actually an exercise that you can work through and that you can create for you, right? So that you can identify how you need to date, how you need to pace yourself so that you can ensure that you are making a logical decision to give that man your heart, and you're just not falling into old patterns. That means you're falling into a relationship. Because remember, we're not falling head over heels in love anymore. I did a video on how to date without giving that man your heart. It's in the membership. So if you want to watch that video and get the scoop on why we're not falling head over heels anymore, we're making the logical decision about our partners and being in love, you're going to want to join the membership. Okay? All right. Let the relationship unfold naturally. Stop feeling like you got to do things to move the relationship along. So if it gets stagnant, let it be stagnant. If it falls apart, let it fall apart. That just means that he was not your person. But there is a pace and a grace and a flow for healthy relationships. Don't feel you have to be in a rush. I heard someone say just today, like, after 90 days, if he's not telling me what it is, like, I need to go about my business. And in my mind, I said, for some of us, it may take longer than 90 days because we have to overcome. I'm 37, so 37 years of programming in order to make one healthy decision as it relates to a partner. 90 days may not be enough. And if it's not enough for you, that's okay. Okay? So don't be in a rush. Listen, I want you to know that healthy love is not supposed to feel like anxiety or overthinking or hypervigilance. It's supposed to feel like being seen, being cherished, being chosen. But remember, we believe in mutual selection over here. Okay? It's not like he choosing us. No, we choosing him. Okay? Listen. And if you heal your anxious attachment, right, you will be able to have a more fulfilling and satisfying romantic relationship with trust and safety, care, and you'll be able to be treated like the delicate and precious woman that you are. I want to hear from you down below how your anxious attachment has showed up in your relationships, and did you ever sabotage healthy love because of your anxious attachment? I love you so much. This is Healing is Sexy.